Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into some really ancient wisdom that you'll see tackles a problem that feels incredibly modern, this feeling that our minds are just way too full. So yeah, let's get right into it.
And I want you to really sit with that question for a second. I don't just mean crowded with your to-do list or random facts. I mean crowded with voices. You know the ones, the voice of anxiety, of fear, of that inner critic, and oh yeah, that relentless planner inside your head that just will not shut off.
You know this feeling, this inner crowd. It's not new. It's not a 21st century problem. In fact, there's this incredible story from the Zhuangzi, an ancient text of Taoist wisdom, about a man who was so completely overwhelmed by this exact problem that he traveled for days on end just looking for a cure.
Okay, so let's meet the guy in our story. His name is Nanrong, and he's over 50, and he feels like his life has totally stalled out, and he is just drowning in confusion and anxiety. To put it simply, the man was stuck, really stuck. So he hears about this great sage, a man named Laozi, who you might know as the founder of Taoism, and he thinks maybe this guy has the answers. So Nanrong packs his bags and just starts walking. For 7 days and 7 nights, he walks on this long, tough journey with only his own chaotic thoughts to keep him company, until he finally makes it to Laozi's home. But when he gets there, Laozi doesn't even say hello. Nope. He just looks at this totally exhausted traveler and asks this completely weird question. You can just imagine Nanrong, right? He's startled, he whips his head around to see who's behind him, but of course, there's absolutely no one there. Laozi just kind of smiles. See, he wasn't talking about actual physical people. He was looking straight through Nanrong and seeing that noisy, chaotic crowd that he had brought along with him inside his own mind. And this is the absolute key. Each one of those nagging thoughts was like a person, taking up space, shouting over each other, basically making it impossible for him to find a single moment of peace, let alone hear his own true quiet voice underneath all that racket. And boom, it clicks. Nanrong finally gets it, and he just breaks down. He confesses what's been tearing him apart, these impossible mental traps he's built for himself. It's like he felt damned if he did and damned if he didn't. He just looks at the sage and begs, where can I possibly go to escape this?
Laozi's diagnosis was so simple, but wow, was it deep. He basically tells Nanrong, you're lost. You're trying so hard to get back to your real self, your authentic nature, but the path is totally blocked by all the noise in your head.
So what was Laozi's big solution? Well, what's so cool about this is that it wasn't about adding more rules or learning more things. It was all about clearing stuff away. It's a really powerful guide for any of us when we're navigating a low point, which you could call one of life's valleys. He lays out this really clear 4-step path to find the way back. First up, be still. You got to ground yourself. Stop the frantic inner race. Then, from that stillness, step 2 naturally follows. Be clear. It's kind of like a glass of muddy water, right? Only when you stop shaking it can the sediment settle, and you can actually see through it. Third, once you have that clarity, you can be empty. This is where you can finally see all that mental clutter for what it is, and just let it go. And finally, from that place of quiet, you get to step 4, act, or as the Taoists call it, wu wei. Now this concept of wu wei is just fantastic. So often, people think it means being lazy or just doing nothing, but that's not it at all. It means acting from a place that's so in tune with the way things are that your actions become spontaneous and powerful. It's like being a boat flowing with the river's current instead of trying to paddle like crazy against it.
Okay, so let's get practical. How do we take this ancient wisdom and actually apply it to our own modern, overcrowded minds? Well, this story basically hands us a toolkit for those moments when we feel completely and utterly stuck. All right, first up, and honestly, this can be the hardest one, stop struggling. When you're in a tough spot, the first instinct is to push harder, right? But that frantic energy just makes things worse. The wisest move is often just to pause and quiet the mind. This leads to this idea of bude yi, which kind of means no other way. It's not about giving up. It's about wisely accepting that some things will only happen when the time is right. You do your part, but then you have to let go of needing a specific outcome and release those rigid labels we love like success and failure.
Okay, next up, you need to reframe tough times. Instead of seeing adversity as a time to struggle more, see it as a chance to rest and recharge. It's a time to protect your inner peace above all else. And that means letting go of all the complex strategies and anxieties that our crowded minds just love to cook up, and instead, just embrace simplicity. The end goal here is authenticity. It's about getting back in touch with that spontaneous, wholehearted part of yourself that acts without a crazy agenda. The part that existed before that whole inner crowd moved in.
So when you follow this path, when you start clearing out all that noise, the goal isn't to become some perfect sage on a mountaintop. It's actually much simpler and way more profound. The goal is to return to your own true self.
Now, Laozi gives Nanrong-chu some advice here that sounds, well, pretty extreme. He says to become like an infant, with a mind like dead ashes. I mean, that can sound a little shocking, right? Is he telling us we should feel nothing and just become lifeless?
No, not at all. The point isn't apathy, it is freedom. It's about freedom from being constantly yanked around by every little fear, every worry, every what if. It's about getting to a place of inner stability where you are the calm center of your own storm. You become the master of your mind instead of its servant.
I mean, just look at the difference between these two states. It is night and day. A crowded mind is always reacting, it's full of conflict, and it just drains your energy. But a clear mind, it's calm. It responds with purpose. It acts from a place of freedom, and it saves your energy for what actually matters. So, in the end, what's this all for? What's the grand prize? Well, according to the philosophy of Zhuangzi, after you've cleared out that inner crowd and you've reconnected with your true nature, there's really only one thing left to do. Just live your life, freely and happily.
So we'll leave you with this last thought. Take a really honest look at your own inner crowd. You've got the worrier, the critic, the perfectionist, the planner. If you could politely ask just one of them to leave today just to give the real you a little more room to breathe, which one would it be?